Good morning, and welcome to Nick's Knits Podcast. I'm Nick, also known as Knicks Knits on Ravelry, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also contact me through our Ravelry group, which is Nick's Knits Podcast. And I also have a blog where I post all the podcast episodes, plus some little extra things. And you can find that on www.knicksknits.com. So hi guys, it's been a really great week, just getting back into the swing of things after being on spring break, but I'm excited to get back and kind of get back into my mojo. So let me say hello to male knitters. Now, this whole discussion, what I've decided is that I'm going to not say every male knitter's name every single week, because I think that this is, a waste of time, and I've heard from some people that they just skip over it, and I just don't think it's worth it. I would love to recognize everybody, so I'm going to have a Male Knitters Hall of Fame, which is going to be on the Ravelry group. You should be able to find it. And, yeah, just look for it there, and, I think that'll be a better way to kind of let everybody know, some male knitters out there, and give them some recognition for being a male knitter. I just think that that's easier, but obviously I'll still, if there are male knitters out there that still post in the male knitters shout out thread, you will still get a shout out, no question. So I'm only going to say one person. He's a new male knitter, actually quite new. I think he said he's only been knitting for a couple months maybe. His name is Matt. And his Ravelry ID is Space Badger 81. So hi Matt, welcome to the group. Yeah, keep in touch. Always, post in the threads and stuff. Keep active and keep knitting. And, you learn so much as you continue to practice. But, yeah, welcome. So, let me jump in right with whips. I only have 2 whips this week because I have an FO, or a faux. But my first is a newly cast on. I just cast this on this morning after coming back from church. But it is a pair of socks. It's just barely cast on. But it is just my basic socks. Yeah, just basic socks made out of the Valley Yarns Huntington in the blue and sunset colorway. Here you go. 50 yards, 218 yards per hank, 7 to 8 stitches on to the inch on a 2 to 3. Yeah, so I have that going. It's just barely cast on, but I hope to at least get some of the leg done, or a lot of it, because I'm doing it on 2s. I think it's a little bit of a heavier fingering, considering that it suggests that you use 2 or 3s, but US 2 or 3s for our European friends. Yeah, it's just like 2 rows done. Gonna get that going. I have it for a friend. Hopefully, I would like to honestly whip through these and get them done for the next podcast. I would like to do that. Just to kind of, before it gets too warm, so that he can kind of, at least wear them a couple times this season, because, he might outgrow them. But, my other FO, which I've been working on and you guys have seen before, but I will show it again because I knit about 2 or 3 rows, as the Knit More girls and the Knit girls have been starting to do. Everything that gets 1 stitch, I'm going to talk about it. Everything that gets 1 stitch knit on it will get talked about. So this is the Cobblestone Sweater by Jared Flood, made in the Manos del Uruguay Maxima in the Coal colorway, which is M2540. That's like the code, I guess, for the colorway. I'm using a US 7, and this is for me. These are using my Hiya Sharps interchangeable, and as I kind of talked about these at another episode, but this set specifically, I think it's called like the Limited Edition Deluxe. It's great because because it has a variety of sizes. It has every single size from US 2. I think it doesn't have 2.5, but I know it has every single size other than that from US 2 all the way up to 15. So it basically covers all of your knitting needle needs. And then it has like an 8. The measurements are a little weird because they have 2 different tips, but the cords work the same. So this one is like, I think, 2 inches of a larger tip. But this is, they have 32, or I think this is 34, but it's a 32-inch cord, a 16-inch cord, a 24-inch cord, 48, and a 60. There might not be a 48, but I don't remember. But it's a great, they're great needles. Here, I'll try to show you the tips. The tips are sharp, but they're not like signature needles. I've never tried signature needles, but I've kind of felt them. And I know that they are really almost too sharp, like they'll stab through your, knitting bag. But these are sharp, but aren't that sharp that, it's going to be stabbing through a knitting bag, and it's good. They're good for lace. They're basically good for any project. And they're metal, which helps even more. I like metal knitting needles because I don't really need the grip. If anything, I need the metal to make me kind of go a little faster, even though I already knit Continental. But yeah, so this is this is my FO, my Lollipop socks. This is the Wild Lollipop yarn in the Beefcake base in the Wild Thing colorway. I used contrasting heel and toe yarn, and I've actually discovered that if with a sport weight ball, I can get exactly one pair of socks with one regular ball of yarn and one contrasting yarn. So as long as I have one regular ball and one contrasting yarn for a sport weight lollipop, I can get a sock out, which is good to know, because I thought I might need two, but I guess my calculations were a little off, which is fine. Anyway, yeah, Wild Thing colorway. It's a repeat of like yellow, then orange, then magenta, and then there's gray in between. And the patterning that I did on the leg, it's like a very basic slip stitch technique. What you do is, let me see if I can, I'll just try to show you like this. So you see those slip stitches? It kind of goes, the orange stitch, you would slip it, and then the gray stitch you knit. So when you get to the color change, wherever it is, even if it's not at the end of a row, you just go slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, slip, knit, all the way around until you get back to where you started, and then you can just continue knitting. So you get this kind of cool effect. And I haven't done it on my feet. I think I want to start doing it though, because I don't know, I just haven't been able to figure it out with the gusset shaping. Or no, that's not the gusset. The foot decreases is what I call it. I don't know what it's actually called, but that's what I call it. Yeah, and these are for me. So these are my first official Spring Into Socks, even though we're already halfway through. Hope to get at least 2 more pairs done before the end of the cal. Yeah, so that's FOs and whips. Stash enhancement, still none. Well, okay, I made an exception for myself because this was a very special opportunity. I purchased a project bag with some of the money, I think it was my Christmas money, that I got, and I got Kay from the Bakery Bears podcast. She put out a limited edition Roman bag, and I got it, and it's awesome. On the outside it has like the streets of Rome on it, and then on the inside it has like a cool like 70s mod fabric. And then she has this really cool zipper pull, which is basically it's a Roman coin. It has the zipper pull. It's awesome because they did that because they've been having a Roman special lately, and I've actually been studying Rome lately, so it's kind of a nice thing. I'm kind of counting it as my Easter gift, even though it's kind of breaking my rules, but I'll go with it because it was like the only thing that works. But again, stash enhancement, yarn donations. I still am in unbelief every single time I look at those baskets. When I look over there, that's where the baskets are. But it's, oh my god, there's so much yarn and needles, and it's just amazing. And now I have a dilemma. It's a good dilemma. It's a very good dilemma. I'll talk about it in my questions. I'm adding another segment, which I will also talk about later. But I really want to thank everybody. So this is final call, because on Thursday at our first club meeting, I'm going to make a little thank you video. So look Thursday night into Friday morning for a thank you video. It's basically just going to have, a little video with the club, just saying thank you for all the yarn donations and everything. It's been absolutely amazing, and I'm still in disbelief how amazing this community is, and I really do appreciate it. It's just amazing. Upcoming. The only upcoming I have is a scarf that I talked about in my Delaque Webs 40th anniversary bag. I showed this exact same thing last week, but I thought I might just show it one more time because it's also going to be in my new segment. But it's just going to be made out of Cascade 220. It's going to be a scarf, but I want the scarf to be done so it's done on a circular, so that I can still do Fair Isle with it. Yeah, so I want it to be on a circular, so I can still do Fair Isle with it, but then it's also still like warm and double thick without me having to. I like double knitting. I've done double knitting. For some reason, like, my two layers of fabric sometimes kind of peep through each other, and I don't want to mess it up. You know, I feel like I'd rather go with something that's a little more safe for me. And I've never done color work in double knitting. I've just done one color on one side, one color on the other side. So I'll go with that. But this is the yarn. It's Cascade 220. This is Twilight Blue colorway, and this is the Goldenrod colorway. Yeah, so I have about 3 balls of each, and I will be working on that in the coming weeks. Yes, I am very excited to start that. I want to get that started. I'm going to do these socks. I'm just going to prioritize, like, kind of go mono, or what is it called? One project at a time. Mono. There's poly. I can't remember. I know it starts with mono. Mono. Polygamous. A polygamous knitter. I'm usually a polygamous knitter, which is a person knitting multiple things at the same time. But for this, I kind of just want to prioritize and get these 2 projects done. The Harry Potter scarf is going to take me a good couple weeks. And so that's, you know, it might be a little boring, but that's going to be basically what you guys are going to be seeing the next month or so. Which, we'll go with it. But, my new segment that I've come out with is going to be the questions of the week, or question of the week. Because if you guys have noticed, I've basically asked you guys a question every single week about something or another. Whether it be, are you a Star Wars or a Star Trek fan? Can you be both? What else? Stuff like that. You know, just basic questions I thought I might ask. So I wrote down 2, but I think I'm going to add a third. What was going to be my third? Shoot. I had an idea for a third. I'll see if I can think about it. Just quickly, let me think about it. Nope. I can't think of it. If I do, I'll add it, and if not, we'll talk about it next week. My first one is, does anybody have any good ideas for organization of yarn and needles? But I need something that's more compact, because I am... So, the school, let me talk more about Knitting Club. So the school that I go to has been kind enough to, they're going to reimburse me for some of the starting supplies that I needed to buy, like tape measures, scissors, sewing thread, sewing machine needles, stuff like that, like, you know, I couldn't really get donations from, which is fine. And so I got that, so they're going to reimburse me for that. But then my next trouble was I was talking with the dean, I've been discussing about the whole reimbursement thing with, and he said that I asked him, you know, does the school have any boxes or plastic bins that I could use for all this yarn? And he just said that my faculty advisor is going to talk about me with, but I don't think my faculty advisor really has anything like that. So I think I'm just going to have to buy some plastic bins off Amazon, because you can buy them like in a 6-pack, and they're primed, so they're just shipped to your house. And I'll probably just get that, and I think I'm going to get one of those, and then let me see if I can show you guys. Right there, see the thing with the drawers here? That thing? I want to get one of those, except smaller, to keep all the needles in. But if you guys have any other ideas that help keep like a compact kind of mini stash that I'm going to be having over there, I'm lucky enough that I'll be able to keep everything over at school, but I just need to figure out how I'm going to transport everything and how I'm going to organize it all. And I really hope by not this upcoming Thursday, but the Thursday after that, I want to have everything over there. So I'm going to figure it out. And my second question is, I had a copy of a pattern from a book. Is it in here? Oh, hold on. I might just be having a really duh moment. Nope, not in here. Yeah, I think I've lost the pattern. So anyway, again, this double thickness type scarf that's made with a circular needle. I want to kind of, I want to have a scarf pattern like that. So if you guys have any ideas on a scarf pattern that's kind of like that, that's made with double thickness, but that's made with a circular needle, I just, almost Harry Potter scarf style. It was like a Harry Potter scarf pattern that I was using, and for now I just can't find the pattern. I bet it's around, but at the moment I just can't find it. I don't know. So I'm gonna do that, and so that's my kind of, I guess you could say, oh, I remember what the third question was. Okay, let me focus back in. Post answers to these questions in the Ravelry group for the episode 8 thread. You'll be able to, and I'll talk about the third question now, but just post in the episode 8 thread. Either you can comment on YouTube if that's easier for you, or in the Ravelry thread. Either, whichever is easier for you, just do that. My third question was, with these socks that I'm doing for a friend, I only had a shoe size. So he's a 9.5, this guy. He's a 9.5, and I had trouble because my big thing is length I can deal with. My whole trouble is, do you guys have any good tricks on, or any good charts that you found that basically say, if, and I remember that, you remember I talked about a couple episodes ago that the Craft Yarn Council came out with like a standard size measurement that basically says, this is this. So like, for example, they had things for socks that said, if you're an 8.5 to a 10 men's, your foot circumference is going to be this. But my whole trouble with that was, if it's 8.5 to 10, that's a large gap. So if you guys have any ideas on how to figure out foot circumference from just a shoe size, please post that in the episode 8 thread or on YouTube. That one I would like to hear the most about, because I really just don't know. I just don't know. So please do that. Knitting club update, as I kind of said. First club meeting on Thursday, and I'm trying to get my yarn organized. That's basically it. I want to we need to start fundraising too, because I want to start now for fundraising for Maryland Sheep and Wool. And I'm toying with the idea of, in September, starting a Kickstarter to get us there, because doing school fundraising is helpful, but you'll make, especially if we want to go to Maryland, it would take 2 years of school fundraising for us to get the money to go to Maryland. And that's without me, I also want to kind of keep some funds, because if a kid comes up to me and says, Nick, I found this awesome yarn online that I really, really like, and I would love to knit with it. I would like to also have to kind of have some funds to, be able to support that, because it will support their yarny wishes, I guess you could say. Yarn is not inexpensive, and especially as a high school student, most kids really don't have that type of money laying around. And so, I've been very lucky to be able to go to yarn festivals and stuff, and to be able to kind of, save up and buy stuff. But, some kids, that might not be their, first thing that they'd like to spend all their money on. So, I'd like to have money for that. So, I think I am going to do a Kickstarter in September. But that's a while off. That's not until next school year. But I plan to do that, just to kind of, because I would like to do an overnight. I would like to go to the Saturday and the Sunday. Because it's Maryland, and it's about 3 hours away for us, and it's long. I'm hoping it's a no-class Saturday for us, because we do have Saturday classes. But we'll see. I would, paying for a bus paying for a bus to not only get us up to Maryland, but then for paying for a bus to be able to get us back and forth from Rhinebeck. That's going to be expensive, plus a hotel for everybody. Plus, I'd like to have some spending money for everybody. So it's going to be a lot of money, and at least when I walk into school in September, I want to kind of have a total in my mind of how much we need to raise. Even I need to come up with that even sooner, but just kind of think about, like, how much money do I need if we want to go to Rhinebeck? How much do we need to raise? Because I think that would be an important number to have in my head. Not Rhinebeck, Maryland Sheep and Wool. Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. Not Rhinebeck. I'm going to Rhinebeck next year in October myself. But October is a weird time for us because it's only like the second month. And I think to have it later in the year, when things are sort of winding down, where everybody's sort of getting relaxed instead of ramping up, I think is a better idea. So there's that. Cal, the Spring Into Socks Cal is still going with the Bakery Bears podcast. I'm co-hosting it with them. And post in the chatter thread. Please do tell us what yarn you use. Because I love seeing these socks in the FO thread. But then, I'll see the sock and then I'll be like, oh, I really wonder what yarn and pattern that is. So either post your yarn and pattern on your FO post or post it in the chatter thread. Because I would love, 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 love to see what stuff you're using. Find out about new yarns, new stuff. Post your FOs, and my rule, as I defined last week, is one post equals one pair of socks. So if you have, let's say you knit a pair of socks for your kid, and you knit a pair of socks for yourself, that's 2 posts. I'm doing that just because, I think that's just a fair way to go. And Kay does make a good point too. Kay said that she's doing 1 post per person because there's some people that are knitting their first pair of socks and she wants everything to kind of be more fair in that way. So, I think I might do it that way. It kind of mixes things up, keeps things balanced. And speaking of the Cal, let me show our prizes. So we have 4 prizes at the moment, and I have to do that today. I'm going to do that. I have to Ravelry message the woman that said that she would give some stitch markers. But otherwise, I think we're good. If you would like to donate a prize, I would love that. I would be so appreciative to have some prizes. Because the more prizes there are, the more prizes there are for everybody else, which is good. So first thing is High Prairie Fibers. In their Bambuca Shimmer base, 65% merino, 35% bamboo, in the colorway Loden. It's 400 yards, and a fingering, I think. It's like a green. This isn't showing exactly just right, but it's pretty good. So there's that. There's a nice green. And then we have our Halk yarn. I think it's either Halk or Halsey yarn. I'm not sure. I think it's Halsey yarn. That would make sense. Halsey yarn. That kind of rolls better. So we have 2 bags from her. This one, and I'm doing my socks in this. So if you win this, we'll be twinsies, as they say. But yeah. So it has this cool, like, kind of geeky male fabric on the front, and then on the inside it has glasses fabric, which I love. And I'll talk about that in chatter thread, glasses. But yeah. So there's that bag, and then the other yarn bag that she sent for to give away is this bird bag. Has really cool birds on it. Bluebirds, chickadees, woodpeckers, robins, blue jay. It's about as much as I can identify. Yeah, so that's really cool. So there's that. And then finally, we have our bags from Bags by Terry, or our bag from Bags by Terry. It's this Woodland Friends bag, which is awesome. I love his bags because they stand up so well. Like, it's made of a canvas. There's really isn't much interface. No, there is interfacing, but there's not like a ton of like stuff in between the exterior and the interior fabric. What is that called, sewers? When it's in between the 2 fabrics. Could be interfacing or batting. It's one of those. I need to learn up on my sewing. Once I get the time, which could be in the next 2 years, I would love to get sewing on project bags because I just think they're so cute. And I've found the site Spoonflower, and I have fallen in love. And next week, no, some point in April, you'll see some maxi dresses that I'm sewing. So there's that. Yeah. So those are our 4 prizes, and then we're also going. I'm pretty sure we're going to have some stitch markers, which we are going to have for the Cal prize, and I think that's it. Otherwise, if you would like to donate a prize, it would be so much appreciated. Yeah, I love. It's just great to get, you know, a whole variety of stuff, because I have certain taste, but, you know, some of that stuff, you know, really isn't, well, most of it isn't my taste, but, you know, I think to have a variety of things that's not just my taste, but everybody else's taste, I think it's important and good. Onto the blabber section. Weather. It's cold out, but it's sunny, and I'm happy about that. It's really... yeah, it's sunny, it's bright, it's, you know, it's just making my day better, and that's good. You know, I'm happy that it's sunny, and it is going to start to warm up soon as we come into April. You know, I'm excited to back to wearing shorts and stuff like that. But then that also means socks, hand knit socks at school go bye-bye, which is fine. And I just like wearing them. They're nice and warm. So, like, as you can see here, on these ones, I have already worn these, and they've already started to felt, which is good. You know, I'm going to wash them this afternoon. But, yeah, so there's those. School is school. You know, it was kind of a rough week, you know, just getting back into everything. But I think at this point now I'm kind of excited to be back into the swing of things. You know, back to everything else. Spring has definitely sprung. It's beautiful out. It's sunny. I see quite a lot of green, which is great. I know some people in Boston are still waiting for the green, but it's coming. It's coming. Or not in Boston, in Massachusetts are waiting for the green, but it's coming. It's coming to you guys. So there's that. And then Holy Week and Easter. Today's Palm Sunday. Happy Palm Sunday. And for those Christians out there, happy Holy Week and happy Easter. Oh, that's right. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to be away. So we're probably going to skip a podcast next week. There will not be a podcast next week due to Easter. But happy Easter, everybody. Happy Holy Week. Yeah, so no podcast next week. Thank you, Nicholas, for reminding yourself about that. Yes, no podcast, but happy Holy Week. Get excited for Easter. You know, we're coming out of the wilderness, I guess you could say. You know, coming out of the doldrums, getting into the spring. Easter's coming. You know, everything's getting really exciting, and it's good. You know, I think it's good to kind of have that. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. I'm trying to remember if I was going to say anything. Oh, Comic Book Club. We'll quickly talk about Comic Book Club. We haven't had a meeting yet. We'll probably have a meeting soon. You know, at some point, you know, in April. I'm excited. You know, get some new reading material. Well, that won't happen until summer, but, you know, at least talk about it, you know, and I'm going to probably get some more of those books, you know, of the second and third volumes of those books soon. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Happy Holy Week. Happy Easter. Again, no podcast next week. Let me see, whatever that day is. There will be no podcast on the 5th. There will be no podcast on the 5th. None. Nada. No podcast. Sorry. So thanks again. Make sure you check out the blog for show notes. Show notes I now only have on the blog. Otherwise, in the past I've done it on YouTube. I think it's just easier to go on the blog. You know, I only have to put it there once, and all links are there. So I've put a lot of clickable links. So you can click on, you know, if you just want to go straight to my Ravelry page or straight to the group, you just go there and you can click. It's easier than having to go and search through Ravelry. So there's that. Please do join the group. I think we're pretty talkative, and it's good to get into a community, especially for those male knitters out there that are a little bit shy of their knitting. But come out, say hi. Yeah. And again, let me know what you think about the podcast. I love to hear about, you know, what you guys think. Oh, well, you know, I think your lighting could be a little better here. Oh, you know, the sound wasn't so good this week. Or, you know, I think you should, you know, try to have a quicker podcast or a longer podcast. Anything you want to say, it's there. There's a thread called Podcast Suggestions. Put it there. And then we also have the Questions for Me thread. Oh, I forgot about that. Not next week, but the week after, I'm going to start the questions. So we're going to questions for you, questions for me is going to be the new name of that segment. Because I've already gotten a couple, and there's one that I want to talk about in the podcast. One part being that I would like to share that, and second part being I'm a little too lazy to have that lengthy of a typed response. Sorry. But yeah, anyway, hope you all have a wonderful week. Happy Easter, and I will see you in 2 weeks. And happy knitting. Bicycle.